Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Harriet here. Good morning. Welcome to Wake Up with Harriet. This morning I'm talking to myself, so I'm just going to sit here and have a little slurp of tea and see if anybody else is either awake or around to join me. Otherwise, I'll just continue talking. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good evening. Hello, Marilyn. How are you? Hello, Temple, Agadia, and Lena. Hey, guys, how are you? I know I've got some people. I can already see some people from the US here. So I'll say good evening to you guys. How are you? How is everyone? It is 6 a.m. here in Adelaide, South Australia. So welcome to Wake Up with Harriet. And if you haven't joined me for this show that we've been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks, welcome. It's just a quick 10 to 15 minutes of goodness, of mindset, tips, tricks, and a bit of fun. So nothing too formal. So good morning. Hello. How are you, Marilyn? How are things going for you? Are you rocking it? How's that? The books and the summits, doing some amazing work. Yeah, all good, good, good. So guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. This morning's topic or this evening's topic for you is, normally I use nice bits of paper, but I'm all out, emotional triggers. Emotional triggers, because we all have them, don't we? And I want to talk a little bit about that. Who here has had an emotional, hey, Belle, who here has had an emotional trigger or gets triggered by something? Erin, I know that I do, no matter, even though I work as a mindset and money coach, I still get emotionally triggered. And even when you think you've dealt with the situation and you're on top of it and you're all good, I know that I still get triggered. And it happened to me last night. So it really prompted me to share this with you today and talk about this, because particularly coming into weekends, Paula, good morning, Paula. Paula, do you get emotionally triggered? Let me ask you the question. So I think we all probably do get emotionally triggered, whether we know it or not, and no matter how far we are in our personal development journey. So guys, welcome to Wake Up with Harriet. This morning's topic is emotional triggers, how to identify them and what to do about them. So nice and short and sharp and shiny. Good morning, Douglas. You are a trooper, joining me every day, every time we have this show. So thank you. Good to see you, Douglas. So guys, I want to talk about emotional triggers because we all have them. And as I said just before, we think we have mastered ourselves, we've progressed, and then something happens. Somebody says one thing and bam, you've gone from happy, good, positive to poof, right back down there feeling cross or upset, and you don't understand why. So let's start with one. And for you guys who haven't joined me on one of these before, I like to use sticky notes. Sometimes, usually I use big ones, but I'm out of them. So we're on the small ones. So number one, when it comes to identifying, good morning, Belle. Hey, Max, how are you? My son's called Max. It's a great name. Very, very good name. Easy to spell too, and I don't forget it. Number one, E plus R equals O. Now for you guys, it's late at night or early in the morning. You're probably saying, why the hell is she, this mindset coach, telling me about some equation? And I'll tell you why. This will hopefully be a game changer for you today or tonight and stop you getting into arguments. Event, can you see that? Event plus response equals the outcome. E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. What does that mean? Let's use who drives here. I think most people on this call are probably going to be driving or catching a train or something into work, out of work, whatever. You're in traffic, driving along, minding your own business, and along comes some ass who cuts you up, cuts in front of you, and almost dents your nice new car. All right? At that very moment, that's the event, is some ignorant person who's clearly having a bad day, who cuts in front of you in traffic and almost bumps you. And you've got the kids in the car, it's all happening, whatever. At that point in time, guys, you can choose to respond. You choose your response. Right. There's a split second in every event where you are given the opportunity to choose your response. Whether you go beep, beep, stick your fingers up, use some profanities, and respond as a lot of people would, with aggression and upset. You're a little bit frightened by what that person's just done. You're a bit shocked. Or you can respond by flashing your lights, or you can respond by simply doing nothing and saying, you know what, this guy clearly is having a bad day. There's something going on for him. I don't want to get involved in his drama llama that's going on. So therefore, I'm going to let it go and not allow it to impact my space, even though I think he's a dickhead, frankly. Okay, right? Now, I don't apologize for using the occasional swear words, by the way. So if you don't like it, probably don't talk to me. But here's what I would be saying. Here, at any point, you've got the opportunity to respond differently, because how you respond is going to equal your outcome. So let's think about what could happen. Let's think road rage. I'm using a fairly extreme example, but it illustrates the point. If you have been carved off by somebody in traffic, you get really angry, you beep on the horn, you flash your lights, stick your fingers up, you get really wound up and upset, like somehow this is personally offensive to you, even though it has nothing to do with you. This person could choose to get equally as angry back at you, and then you've got a road rage incident, all right? Or they might wind down their window or buzz down their window and maybe just say stuff to you that you just don't want to hear, right? But the alternative is, if you respond and say, let this person go, they're clearly having a bad day, they're a bit of a loser, just let them go. The outcome's going to be peace. For a few moments you might think, gee, that was unpleasant, that guy's a bit of an idiot, but I choose to get on with my day without responding in a way that impacts me. I feel good, I'm going to keep going along on my business. Does that make sense? It's the same with family members, and I think this is one of the hardest ones in people relationships, is when somebody may say something. Hey, Jacqueline, hello, good morning, good evening. It's the same. It's really tricky in personal relationships, isn't it? Because if you have a parent or a partner or even a child, that there'll be something, there's always going to be a trigger point, that flare-up point. And what I'd say to you is, number two, we're going to talk about that, but just understand that you do have a choice. It's not some power outside of you. You can choose how you respond in that split second. So that's where you need to stop and take the breath. Number two, once you realize that you have the power, number two is to identify, what is your trigger? What is your trigger? You know, is it when your partner says something to you? Is it when your family member behaves in a certain way or references something which you don't think is fair or true, and somehow it violates your sense of justice? Whatever it may be, identify what is your trigger. Maybe it's you've got family members who simply don't understand the journey you're on, and they're constantly making comments to you about how you choose to live your life. You know, maybe that's your trigger. But the really important thing is to understand, when do these feelings come up? Because you'll generally know them. You think about, but just for those people who celebrate Easter, good morning, Melanie. Hello, hello. Great to see you here. Great to have you here. We're just talking this morning about emotional triggers. Melanie, my very artistic, highbrow diagram there. And we've just talked about how E plus R equals O, event plus response equals your outcome. It's understanding that in every split second of something that occurs, you have a choice in how you respond. But number two is to really identify, what is the trigger point? What is it? Think about Easter time, Christmas time, or whatever in your culture you celebrate. When people come together, right? This is a critical time. This is where families argue, where things happen. Identify what's your trigger. Get super clear. If you know that your cousin Mary is going to make some reference to something and it's always going to trigger you, the way she speaks to you, be prepared for that. So when you go into that conversation, you know how to manage it. But the second most powerful thing you can do is to identify it and get super clear. Okay? And number three, Melanie, put your opinion in here too. You know about this stuff, so please contribute if you like. I love it when you've got really very experienced, talented psychologists on the line. It's like Put your perspective in, Melanie, if you've got a view on this as well. But number 3 is, I would say to you, when you're triggered, it's not about the other person. What is it for you? And guys, I know this is heavy and this is a bit hard to hear. You know, I don't do light and fluffy, but if you really want to get rid of this trigger or learn to manage it so it's not upsetting you and you giving it that power, it's time to understand what needs attention inside of you. What trigger, this trigger, what is it triggering inside of you? Because it's not the other person. The other person may be all the names under the sun. They may be whatever. It might just be that when they comment, it's triggering something inside of you that needs attention. So is there something that needs some healing? Is there something in you, like in your unconscious mind, that is triggering you off from when you were a kid? You're always told that you couldn't do something, that there was a limiting belief installed in you, and you've worked hard to overcome that. But of course, when you see Cousin Mary, old Aunt Mary, she references that and it triggers off your response. Do you see what I'm saying? Does this make sense? It's really important to understand what needs attention inside of you, okay? Because last night, what prompted me to talk to you guys about this, I was going to talk more money mindset, but I think it's an important one. Because what happened to me last night, I was very triggered by something that my daughter said to me, and it was nothing to do with my daughter. It was actually to do with the fact that she was going to the birthday party of somebody in my family that I feel has done a lot of damage to our family, a lot of damage. And she's going to that birthday party with my mother. So that sense of, betrayal and triggers and all those old pains, the wound was opened up again. So I found myself sitting back going, oh, okay, I'm feeling I've gone from really up here, having an amazingly good day. We'd launched a new product, the Rich Bitch Academy. We've got new clients come in. It was an amazing day, really powerful day. And I went from up here to down there in about 5 seconds flat. But I took myself away and had to really reflect and do some meditation and say, okay, there's still a wound there that's seeping and it needs attention. This is not about anybody else. This is about me. Okay, does that make sense? And I know I share a lot, but I'm the best guinea pig. I'm sitting here in front of you, okay, and I can share this with you to say, this is my experience and I know that I'm not alone with this, okay? Melanie's just said, so true, Harriet. It's so important to be reflective, absolutely. And it's hard, I get that. It's really hard to think, because what we hear people say is, we hear this, the event plus response equals the outcome, but people are very quick to say, oh, well, Aunt Mary pisses me off. She's so mean to me. She doesn't understand me. What we're doing, guys, is we give away our personal power when we do that. Does that make sense? You're giving away your personal power to somebody else when you allow them to make you feel that way. And it may not be their intention. It may be. It absolutely may be, for sure. But the longer you keep responding and being triggered by that, you're giving away your power. So it's really important to understand how you choose to respond to the event, which could be a comment, an action, a word, a look on a face. It could be anything. How you choose to respond is going to equal the outcome and how you're going to feel. Does that make sense? All right, so let's quickly recap. Identify what your triggers are, guys. Really be honest. Reflect, as Melanie said. Good morning, Douglas. Yeah, Douglas is just saying, sorry, guys, I'll just jump across to the comments. When you react, you give away your power to another and reveal your shadow or lack of maturity. When you respond, you use your power and reveal your wisdom. It's so true. I love that. Thank you, Douglas. That's absolutely beautiful. We should do a collaboration and do one of these together. We're giving away our power. So it's that unconscious mind. Sometimes it's that inner child within us, and it's just revealing that trigger point will reveal the past hurts, things that we haven't matured through. And it's not a criticism. This is where it's really important to be kind to yourself and self-love, rather than, oh my God, I get so angry when so-and-so does this. Okay, stop. See, this is an opportunity for growth. That's all it is. It's all it ever is. You don't need to beat yourself up about it, okay? Because that's Aunt Mary's job. So identify your trigger. And number 3 for today is just to understand what inside of you needs some attention. What's your growth area? Stop giving away the power. Thanks, Douglas, and thank you, Melanie. Great contribution. Really appreciate that. Does that make sense? All good? Everyone's very quiet. All right. Well, hopefully that has helped you guys today to identify some emotional triggers. Do you like my drawing? Does that emotionally trigger you? I hope not. I hope that doesn't give you some sort of nightmares, but perhaps guys, look, let's do this. Okay. You know, I'm not a traditional mindset coach here. We like to have fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. Is that better? I've got a happy face. Draw out the sad face, and now you've got a happy face. How's that? Is that all good? Yeah? Okay, good. All right. Well, on that note, I'll also say this. All right. Happy Friday for those in Australia. Happy Friday. Big love to you guys. Okay? All right, look, thank you guys all for joining me with Wake Up with Harriet over the last week. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys also. Good morning, Fee. It looks like a bad tooth. Yesterday we talked about, Fiona's just referencing, yesterday we talked about when I did my announcement that we've opened up the a 6-week program, a new one from my business, 6-week program for people who really want to step up in their lives, live bigger, earn more, and make more profit, whether it's in their career or in their business, so they can contribute more to people and planet. It's one of my biggies. We talked about pulling out old limiting beliefs and old self-limitations and views of ourselves, old self-images, like pulling out a rotten tooth, because those things really can poison your whole body like a rotten tooth. So Fiona's referencing the bad tooth. That one seemed to stick with a lot of people, Fee. That's a bit funny. So I'll be the bad tooth fairy, I think. I'll take away your bad teeth. How's that? Guys, thank you so much. If anybody does want to know about the Rich Bitch Academy, give me a shout, drop me a note. But otherwise, wishing you the most awesome Thursday and Friday nights. Watch those triggers as you go into the weekend. Remember, keep your power, but stay strong. Don't give it away to other people, particularly people who don't deserve your power. Okay, lots of love. Have an amazing evening or day. And I will see you Monday morning, 6 a.m. Adelaide time for Wake Up with Harriet. See you guys. Thanks everybody for your contribution. Bye Brisbane. Bye Sunshine Coast. Love you guys. See you.